movie nerds, and welcome back to Cinematic Sarcastic, a podcast that talks all things movies and television. I'm Natalie, and I'm your host. On today's episode, we need to talk about Bullet Train. The best thing that I can say about Bullet Train is stop, just pause this, go watch it, stop what you're doing, go see it. It is beautiful. Bullet Train is a beautiful, beautiful work of cinematic genius. It is so good. I went into it completely expecting something else. I really was expecting something a little bit more similar to maybe like John Wick or The Mexican kind of is where I thought this was going, just sort of the funny main character, or maybe the guy who sort of Forrest Gumps his way through through action. This was not that. Whoever, I will have to Google it, 'cause whoever it is that wrote the script for Bullet Train, chef's kiss. It wraps up so nicely at the end. Everything just seems to flow really well. There are multiple groups of essentially what I would consider assassins or hired men. And I feel like in a typical movie, you probably would pick your favorites, right? And with Brad Pitt being essentially the star of the show, or the person that you're most focused on, I really expected to go in rooting for him, really liking him, and not really so much focusing on a lot of the other characters. And Bullet Train completely just blew my mind. Yes, Brad Pitt did an amazing job, but so did everyone else in this movie. And in such unexpectedly fantastic ways that it was a lot funnier than I expected it to be, but it was coupled with some of that outrageous sort of stuff. The things that I had complained about not liking in The Gray Man, that over the top kind of there's an explosion on the plane and everyone gets sucked out except for Ryan Gosling, that over the top sort of drama action happened in Bullet Train. Except that the way that they did it in Bullet Train was masterful. And then the way that they did it in The Gray Man, I feel like maybe it was because The Gray Man was taking itself so seriously that when you put in that sort of over the top action, that it doesn't work as well. It's I don't know. I can't take it as seriously. Something jars me out of that sort of stuff. But in Bullet Train, it was this beautiful mixture of the action sequences, the fight sequences, the explosions and all of that stuff, but mingled with a really interesting story with humor. Some of the one-liners in this film were on another level. It's one of those, I need to buy the DVD and memorize these one-liners because they are epic, and I will need to use those in conversations with people. Some of the things, especially Brad Pitt's character, some of the things that he says, his quippy, witty one-liners are just so good. They're just so good. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Bullet Train definitely broke the streak for me of films where I was just a little bit more disappointed than enjoyed them. Bullet Train completely just broke that. I will absolutely buy it on DVD. It was one of those films that I got out of it, and I was telling my friend who'd gone with me, I was I kind of just wanted to walk into another theater and watch it again. Immediately I want to just see it again and pick out any parts that I might have missed, or listen to those one-liners again, and it was such an unexpected adventure, but it was so good. It was so good. I would highly recommend. I absolutely think you should drop whatever you're doing and go see Bullet Train. It was amazing. The cast did such a wonderful job. Every single different section of characters I really enjoyed. Like, I very much enjoyed them. And Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry, man, that duo, the two of them, I was expecting something completely different out of them than what it turned out to be. And they just were masterful, just absolutely masterful. Everyone in the movie, like, there are so many different actors and actresses and like so many different characters in the film that's just, it's too much for me to like name off everybody. But trust me, like, everyone does a beautiful, beautiful job. Sandra Bullock is also in this one, which I was not expecting. I didn't see the trailer that like shows her being part of the film until literally right before we were going to see the movie. So that was a very welcome surprise. There is at least one cameo, which I will not spoil for anyone, but it is, oh, it's so good. It was like one of those moments where you definitely are not expecting this person to show up, and it's just a funny, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it kind of moment. Really just, masterpiece. Like, hats off to everyone involved in Bullet Train. Like, I am absolutely loving some of the movies that Brad Pitt is coming out with now, and you know, that team of him and Sandra Bullock it's just a great one. I am loving seeing what all of these actors are doing now, and I went into it expecting to probably like it, you know, like it kind of was one of those movies that I assumed I would enjoy. But like I was saying, I expected it to be more like The Mexican. I expected sort of there to be just a streamlined story and Brad Pitt's character just sort of fumbling his way through it and somehow miraculously making it to the end. And there is a bit of that involved, but there is so much more to it. And the pieces, it's like literally Bullet Train to me kind of is like just pieces of a puzzle, and they fit together in such a wonderful way that whoever it is that wrote this script did such a fabulous job of like tying all of these characters together, tying the story together. My only complaint, if there is any complaint that can be had on Bullet Train, is whoever picked the font, like the actual font for the subtitles in the film, because there are subtitles in some places. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. It was like multiple colors, constantly kind of looked blurry. At least to me, I don't know, just the way that it was done made it a little bit more tricky to read. And that is really my only gripe of like, if the subtitle text had been a little easier to read, 10 out of 10, beautiful, beautiful. But either way, like, it didn't take away from the movie so much as it just made it a little bit more difficult to keep up with some of the things that they were saying when there were subtitles involved. But would absolutely recommend. Definitely go see it. Let me know what you guys think of it if you do go see it. Subscribe if you want to join the Movie Nerd family, and I hope to see you in the next episode.